Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Points. Today we are at the sixth topic of our crash course. It is totally based on the homework puzzles which I had given during the middle game motive sessions. So 3 puzzles were there as homework from 3 different sessions. We are looking at the first one here. It was white to play with this position. White is very active. We can see white is even a piece up over here. The problem with white's position is the poor king placing. So what is happening is black is already threatening bishop e5, de5, and there is lot of pressure. The bishop is supported by queen, so there can be the move rook e5. So white has to act quickly over here. He does so. He realizes that even the black king position is not great. Some typical weaknesses, f7, h7, rook g7 check is there. So there are these candidate moves, queen h7 check, rook g7 and f7. White started his calculation with the move rook g7 because we can see after qh7 king f8 the black king manages to escape. What happens after rook g7 is that most players just reject the line, bishop takes the rook. But if you look at the other line, king takes rook, we realize that how badly the king is placed. So rg7, kg7, queen h7, king f8, see, queen f7 mates on the spot. So this gives us some trigger that if we calculate the line bg7 properly, maybe something could happen. So rook g7, bg7, queen f7 check, forcing king h8. This is what white saw, and then soon he realized that the pieces are coming in all relationships. See, the h8, d8 and d6, they are all coming on the black squares. Knight can do fork from f7, but the pawn queen is on f7. So the queen is blocking the square, so we can clear that square. See, multiple themes operating in these positions. First rook g7, see, deflecting this bishop, okay, opening the king position, demolition of pawn cover. Now see, queen f7 check, king h8, we want this knight fork or the double attack, what they say in the book. And then finally see, clearance of square, making a sacrifice, also an intermezzo because we take queen e8, rook e8, knight f7, kg8 and knight takes d6. And see, white not only got 2 pawns, he traded the queens. Now his king is safe, he is piece up also. Soon he will trade more pieces, nb7 and all, and he would win the game. Okay, let's go to the next one now. We have the second problem here. It is black to play, and let's see what's going on in the position. Firstly, we can make out black's pieces are bit active. See, queen, bishop, rook on f8 on the open file, knight on f5, bit ahead as compared to white pieces. See, white's pieces, rook, both bishops, e1 rook, f1 knight, they are all stranded on the first and second ranks. The knight on e4 is only well placed, and to some extent the queen. Actually, this queen is the problem because of which the combination actually takes place. The main weakness though being 2 pawns have moved in front of the castled position, and if we can recollect, I have discussed before, whenever the g pawn moves, see, the f3 square becomes weak. If f2 moves, g3 becomes weak. Here both have moved, so see, the squares behind them and both are somewhat weak. Mainly the square f3 over here. The main relation being this diagonal here, c8 h3, and black tries to exploit that. So the obvious move which comes to mind is knight d4, because see, after qd7, if nothing, then we can take an f3 check followed by bd7. But black saw further here and he realized that this knight on f3 causes this king to go to h1. See why? Because after knight d4, qd7, and f3, if king f2, then knight e1 would be check. Same kg2, then also knight e1 is check. So king h1 is forced, and there he realized that he has the very strong knight e1. Why? Rook f1 is mate and bishop still attacks the queen. But only seeing that much is not enough. White has the very important defense over there which black saw. He can retreat the queen to h3 and protect f1. Let's see those moves. Knight d4, queen takes d7, knight f3 check. As I said, kf2, then knight e1 check with the rook and bishop takes d7. Black will be exchange up. kg2 is even worse, knight e1 would be check, bd7, black would be rook up. So white went king h1, and now see, knight e1 leaving the knight hanging. See, rook f1 is mate, that is the main problem. But black had to see the idea to queen h3 what he has to do, and now I hope you can find very easily. black saw the move bd7. See, the queen is defender of f1, so we attack the queen. Deflection is the theme here. That is what we would assume, right? But the book says the main theme is discovered attack. The knight moving to d4 has created the discovered attack. If we try to note down, there are at least 4 themes applicable. The deflection of queen, the back rank mate, the knight fork happening from f3, the discovered attack. Okay, and now see, g4 only move and the deflection further continues. Bishop takes g4, white maybe has to take g4, qg2 and g2 is also lost. And now rook f1 check, and white resigned because after qg1, rook g1, kg1, material balance is not only restored. See, black is 2 pawns up, he takes the piece as well. After nc2, his piece and a couple of pawns up. So black won the game. Let's look at the last position now. This is the final position of our course, and let's see what's happening here. We can see the white queen is the main defender over here. It guards g2. All the 3 black pieces are attackers. Queen, knight and the rook on d3. Although this rook on d3 is not very ideally placed, black would like that rook to come on the 7th rank. The whole combination is based on 2 ideas. One, making the rook reach the 7th rank, and second, using this queen's defensive line of defense. Queen is the defender. So whenever we see a long line of defense, we should try to use the theme of interference. And here 2-3 ideas are mixed up very nicely. Black goes with the move c6. We can see that directly there was no way to attack g2. So first he decoys the queen to c6. Deflection to a particular square is called decoy. Now see, rook c3. Attacking the queen and the c2 square. So threat is rook c2. So after qb7, rook c2, we will see that hardly there is any defense. After g3, I like the move queen h3 more. Rook f2, then rook c1 wins on the spot. Otherwise, many would suggest rook g2 check, kh1, queen h3, which also wins, but white has the chance to go qg2 in that. Rook, bishop and a couple of pawns, things will become little difficult for black over there. But the main variation is the move qd5, since now immediate rook c2 allows bd2 and white still holds the position. So black first goes rook c5. Very important move, because now what is happening? The queen doesn't have f3 and the e4 squares to guard g2. So what will happen? Even we can see bd2 is being controlled, d2 square with the queen. So now this overloaded queen struggles to cover everything. If see qb7, then same idea, rook c2 wins. And after the only other way to keep g2 protected, qd2, black now realizes that both whites, rook and the queen, both are overloaded. See, if rook is not there, knight f3 check is fork, right? g2 pawn is pinned. If queen is not there, then qg2 mates. So the rule says whenever 2 defenders are there, 2 overloaded pieces, sacrifice at the common point of their interest. So here see, rook c1. This is the sacrifice at the common point. Now see, if qc1, then of course qg2 mates. Now the pinned rook doesn't have much choice. Anyway, an f3 is threat. So if rook c1, then see, knight f3 check, kf2, knight takes d2, and black wins. So white resigned after rook c1. I hope you enjoyed the format of this course. 3 topics based on middle game motives and 2 based on attacking the king. Do let me know in the comments below how you found the course overall. Thanks for your time.